Hi guys, Surf here. I'm just reading some of the newest issue of Nintendo Power. On Saturday mornings, I like to get up, have a cup of coffee, a little cereal, maybe play some games. Today, I've been playing some New Super Mario Brothers 2 on my 3DS, and I'll read some Nintendo Power, and it's a fun thing. I've only been doing it maybe a couple of months now. I just sort of got back into Nintendo Power in the last couple of years, with maybe like 2009, something like that. And I was only picking it up occasionally, but in the last year or so, I'd say I've been picking it up every month. Just been really nostalgic and really enjoying reading the articles in it and stuff like that. And of course, you've heard the unfortunate news that Nintendo Power will be closing its doors. The last issue will be December of this year. And that's really sad, really unfortunate, especially where I was just about to get a subscription because I've got the 3DS and I'm going to be picking up the Wii U in a couple of months here, and I thought it'd be really cool to have Nintendo Power alongside them. But unfortunately, that won't be the case. And it kind of got me thinking about some of the old issues of Nintendo Power that I had from back in the day, and I actually have all of them here, I believe. I picked them up. I was at my parents' house maybe a couple of months ago, and I picked up sort of a container with all my old Nintendo Powers in it. And I thought, for a laugh, I'd take a look at a couple of issues, not in depth or anything like that today, just maybe take a peek at a couple of my old Nintendo Power magazines. And maybe if it's fun to do and you guys like it, I'll take a look at some of them more in depth. But let's take a look at a couple of old Nintendo Power magazines, looking back. So the two I decided to take a peek at today, and again really quickly, were the September and October issues of Nintendo Power in 1996. I collected Nintendo Power. I was subscribed to it during the N64 era, so I don't have like a ton of these. Before that, I was more into like Game Fan and EGM. I don't think I have any of the like early, really cool Nintendo Powers from like the Nintendo era and the Super Nintendo. Although there is Super Nintendo in some of these. A friend of mine kind of went PlayStation, and I went N64. Right around 96, 97. So he was getting EGM, and I was getting Nintendo Power. Although we never like made any like pact or anything like that. That's just sort of how it worked out, because they would have more PlayStation stuff in EGM, and of course all the Nintendo stuff would be in Nintendo Power. So it kind of worked out that way, and that way we could both check out the magazines and stuff like that. But this was the September 96 issue. This was the launch of the N64. So, of course, this issue has Bowser on the cover, and it's got Super Mario 64 in it. And it's got some news on Turok, Cruisin' USA. I think Pilowings is in here as well. And they're a little beat up. I pored over these as a kid, especially at this point because I didn't have an N64 yet. I would get one that Christmas with Super Mario 64. And I believe Shadows of the Empire, but I might have got that for my birthday, because my birthday is in... Yeah, I think I got that for my birthday because that's in January, and I think I got Donkey Kong Country 3 as well that year, because I'm a huge Donkey Kong Country fan. So it's a quick peek here. There's like an ad for the magazine with Rodney Dangerfield. This N64 kiosk you would see at stores. So at this point, like, you get to see some of the box art. Again, I might have played N64 at this point at like, I think I played it at like a Kmart, and was just so hyped for it, so excited for it, and having this article on Super Mario 64 was just nuts. I just remember going through this and poring over the screenshots so many times, because this was, and you hear a lot of us old guys say this, older guys I should say, this was how you got your gaming news when you were a kid. When I was I was a teenager at the N64, and the internet, although it might have been out, wasn't really in prevalence. I don't even think really most people had it, so you didn't really have this as an opportunity to get your information. So having a magazine was just crucial, and I just remember these crazy layouts they would make of the whole map to give you an idea of like where all the stars were and stuff. Just give you a little teaser and give you all kinds of great information. And I just remember this was so great at the time. This is really cool looking back at these. Pilowing 64, like I said. I think there's Donkey Kong Country 3 in here. Turok. Love Turok. Love Turok games. They were so good. Once you got used to the controller scheme, they were just amazing. And here's some classified information. Killer Instinct 2. Ken Griffey. KI for the Game Boy. MK3. I don't think Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was out yet. Tetris Blast, Doom. And there's lots of just amazing stuff in here. Kirby Superstar, I think this was like part 2 on it. Some City. Yeah, these are just really enjoyable. It's really great looking back at these. I won't go too in-depth, like I said. Maybe I'll look at them a little more in-depth later, but there's one more I want to take a peek at. So this was the October issue of Nintendo Power that year. Again, the N64 had just came out, so we have a little Mortal Kombat trilogy on here. But there's still a lot of Super Nintendo stuff in here. We got Street Fighter Alpha 2. Wave Race 64 was going to be in this one, and they had an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto on some of the games he had in the works. So here was a little MK trilogy stuff. I was really into fighting games back then. I'm not at all now. I don't play them at all. But I remember back then I really liked Street Fighter. I really liked Mortal Kombat. So this was a really great game. Some kind of contest I think they had with Blockbuster and Alex Mack. Wave Race 64, just such a great game. There were so many great arcade racers on the N64, and this was just one of the many, but it was definitely a standout game. It was so much fun. The water physics blew my mind at the time. I know looking back at it, it's a little weird, but at the time, oh man. So I was absolutely obsessed with Star Wars as a kid, and Shadows of the Empire was like one of my most anticipated games on the N64. I absolutely love that game. I know the controls are a little clunky and all that, but what they would do is they would put Shadows of the Empire started as a comic book, and it was sort of a chronicle of a different story that went on between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and they would put some of the comic in the magazine to give you some lead up to the game. And oh my god, I just remember just being completely hyped out of my mind for that game. Donkey Kong Country 3. I love the Donkey Kong Country series. I think my favorite's probably DKC 2, but I did love 3 as well. It's probably my least favorite of the 3, now 4, but I still loved the game at the time. And I remember being very excited for it as well. Yeah, here we have some Counselor's Corner with Uncharted Waters, Ogre Battle, Donkey Kong Land, Final Fantasy 3, How Do I Get the Paladin Shield, How Do I Defeat the Phantom Train. This is my favorite game of all time here, so this is kind of cool. They got some other stuff in here. Looks like Street Fighter Alpha 2, Mrs. Pac-Man, or Ms. Pac-Man. Some more Pilot Wings. We got a Donkey Kong Country 3 poster. Some fan art, looks like. A little Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, strategy stuff. And here's that interview that they had with Shigeru Miyamoto back in '96 about some of the games he had in development for the N64, Wave Race 64, Super Mario at the time, Zelda 64. It's hard to see probably what's going on here, but we have We have Link here attacking like a metal enemy, and his sword is making sparks. This looked like a totally different game back then, I have to say. If you can see some of the videos on YouTube of Zelda 64 before it was, Ocarina of Time, you can see like Link could jump. Things just seemed a lot darker. It's my favorite Zelda game of all time, so I'm glad where it went. But yeah, so like I said, I'm not going to go too in depth on these right now, but I just wanted to show a couple of the old Nintendo Nintendo Power magazines in the N64 era. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My thumb was just in the shot. That sucks, but whatever. Not editing it out. And yeah, have a good one, guys.